I'm John Twist of University Motors. Today I want to talk just a little bit about, workshop, assembly, how you work in going at doing something relatively massive, like in this case, rebuilding the front suspension on your 1966 MGB, which lies up here on the hoist up here. The rear axle is still apart. If you've watched some of the previous videos, you'll know that it's the week before Memorial Day 2025. We're doing the front end and the back end together. So we've taken the whole front end apart, the back end too, but the whole front end. This is mostly front end. There's a little bit of rear brakes here, and we've cleaned everything up. Everything. Look at this. Everything's all the plates have all been wire wheeled. You don't have to get crazy. You don't have to buy new ones. Just scrub it up, paint it. It's good enough for who it's for. The rear backing plates, those are all nice and cleaned up and painted. Those are all set to go. I have a tumbler, with all the little rocks inside it. So we took all the nuts and bolts that were in there, having to do with the front and rear suspension. We got them as clean as we could, put them in the tumbler for 12 hours, and they come out and they're absolutely clean and nice, and you can fit them. So there should be at least two of everything, because the car's got a left and a right. So just the layout, just lay everything out, make everything all nice. You can look at this and go, oh my God, where does all that stuff go? But it's just a puzzle. The stuff only goes in one spot. And if you got a problem keeping track of stuff, you can use your phone, made in China, and snap lots and lots of pictures of what you're doing, what you're taking apart. Because when you come down to it and you're looking at these bolts, we've got some bolts that are longer, they're about medium length, they're shorter. It's like, where do they go? Well, I know where they go, but if you can't remember, or you can't figure it out by application, then you have to do this, so that when you put it all back together, everything goes in the same spots. Now, an MGB or an MGA, it's all American fine thread. So even though this is kind of weird, half inch 20 bolt, nothing that you'd normally find in the hardware store, but if you need it, you can find it at the hardware store, or you can get new ones. Here, the owner has opted to purchase a kit, from Moss, and here we've got the same bolt on the inside, a little bit longer, by 2 threads or something, but it's a nice kit. It's got all the stuff, so we don't need all the old stuff. But you never, ever, ever throw anything away until the project is all done. Even then, maybe it isn't a good idea to throw anything away. You always want to have a backup. What happens if you drop the seal support down your drain, okay? And the new seal support and the washers come in the kit, okay? But if this goes down the drain, it's awfully nice to have yet another one from which to choose to make the whole project complete. We're putting an anti-sway bar on the front of this 66 MGB, which was delivered without one. It is the single, let me tell you, putting a sway bar on the front of the car is the single most dramatic thing you can do to the handling. Almost none of the MGAs were supplied with sway bars. The MGBs, 74.5 through 76, some of them had it, most of them didn't. Oh my gosh, and with a raised ride height, it is even more critical. By 77, they had it under control. They said, not only are we going to put one in the front end, but we're going to put one in the rear end too. You can't put a sway bar in the back end of your car on an earlier model unless you really know what you're doing, because there's nothing strong enough to support it and it will tear out. I've seen that any number of times. So it sounds like a cool idea, putting a rear sway bar in. And the sway bar, the rear sway bar on a 77 through 80 is just wonderfully strong and wonderfully great, makes the car handle really well. But my gosh, if you see the ears to which that thing is attached, it's massive. You cannot do that at home with little tiny brackets. So it'll tear out of the sheet metal, whatever you attach it to. But in the front end, this is the single most dramatic thing you can do for the suspension. So let's go over and just take a look at the car for a minute. So here we have a 1966 MGB that's pretty well eviscerated. Front suspension's all off, totally off. Engine and gearbox are out. Rear axle's all apart. This all stuff is coming back together in the next 3 days here. But we dropped the front cross member off today. It's lying here on the floor. It's just getting cleaned up right now, waiting to get some paint. And here we have the kingpins and the stub axles, and all this stuff is waiting to, the hubs, front hubs, all this stuff's waiting to get cleaned up and painted. So when we go to put it back together, it'll be really nice. And here on the tables, you can see in a random display of parts are enough parts to make you pause when you look at your credit card statement. So anyway, just wanted to show it to you. It's a big project here today. Maybe we'll get Houston back when we're all but done. Show you what it looks like when it's all together. But you should be. It's the springtime. You should have been doing this last fall. Okay, this is the time you should be driving your car. Anyway, drive your MG today. Until then, safety fast.